I hope everybody is keeping well. And as you know, your timetable has been declared by the Maharashtra University of Health Sciences. So it is 3rd of September, and all of you must have started studying. One thing I want to tell you is, if you have any difficulty during your studies, if you have any doubts, you can always call up or you can send message, and we are always there to solve your problem. So please, without hesitation, you can ask your difficulties. If you want any repetition, we will do the repetition also. Now, there was one query from Rutuja Shetty, regarding when I was talking the applied anatomy of the basal nuclei. She has the difficulty in understanding the chorea and the epiphysis. Got it? She has the difficulty in differentiating between the chorea and the epiphysis. Chorea means dancing. Chorea means dancing, and it is the involuntary movements of the hands and legs. It is the involuntary movements of the hands and legs, and here the movements are disorganized. Here the movements are disorganized, and they are due to the lesion of caudate nucleus. They are due to the lesion of caudate nucleus, and the ethetosis. These are also a form of movements which are slow, repetitive, and writhing. Got it? These are slow, repetitive, and writhing, and these are also movements of the hands and leg, and these are usually because of the lesion of the putamen. Got it? Ecdyphosis is seen in the lesion of putamen, and chorea is seen in the lesion of caudate nucleus. Okay? Now, over here, we have to do the investigation, the CT scan and the MRI, and in that we can find out the lesion, and accordingly we can name the got it? We can name the movements. Okay? So that is about the chorea and the epiphysis. Now today we will study about the brain stem. Got it? Today we will study about the brain stem. Got it? The brain stem comprises of three parts. The midbrain. Got it? It consists of the midbrain, the pons,
Medulla.
and the medulla. Got it? So these are the three parts of the brain stem. Got it? These are the three parts of the brain stem: the midbrain, the pons, the medulla oblongata. Isn't it? Now, the most important function of this brain stem, it connects the cerebrum with the spinal cord. It connects the cerebrum with the spinal cord, and there are many ascending and descending tracts passing through the midbrain, pons, and medulla. There are many ascending and descending tracts passing through the midbrain and pons and medulla. Okay? Now, these three structures, why they are important? Because there are many nuclei present in this region. Got it? And which give rise to cranial nerves, where there are many centers present in these parts. Okay? And even a small lesion, even a pinpoint lesion. So now you can imagine, we are not able to see with the naked eye the point of the pin. So that small lesion can give rise to severe disorders. Got it? That small lesion can give rise to severe disorder to a person. So the most important thing to remember over here is, what are the nuclei? This is just for you to remember. Okay? This is just for you to remember. Okay? When at a glance you will see, you will know. Okay? You will know. That's why I am mentioning it separately, and even if it is not important from exam point of view, in your practice, all this is very important. Okay? Now first, we have the midbrain. Got it? The midbrain. Okay? In the midbrain, you have the nucleus of the oculomotor nerve and the propioneuron. Oculomotor. Got it? And the propioneuron. So you have the nucleus of oculomotor nerve, you have the nucleus of the propioneuron present in the midbrain with the superior cerebellar peduncle. Got it? You have the nuclei of the oculomotor nerve, you have the nuclei of the propioneuron nerve with the superior cerebellar peduncle present in the midbrain. in the pons. Got it? In the pons. Got it? What are the nuclei that are present in the pons? You have the nucleus of 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th cranial nerves. Got it? You have the nuclei of 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th cranial nerve present in the pons. And in the medulla,
9, 10, 11, 12.
you have the 9, 10, 11 and the 12 cranial
First.
nerves. Got it? You have the nuclei of the 9, 10, 11, 12 cranial nerves. Got it? So these are the nuclei that are present in the midbrain, pons and medulla. This is simple to easy to remember. The midbrain, oculomotor and trochlear. Oculomotor is the third cranial nerve. Trochlear, you have the olfactory, optic, oculomotor, isn't it? Trochlear and the trigeminal, isn't it? So you have the third and the fourth cranial nerve present in the midbrain. You have the pons in the pons may you have the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th cranial nerve, and in the medulla you have the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th cranial nerves. So these are the nuclei present in the midbrain, pons and medulla. Okay. So the different lesion will give rise to different types of paralysis. Okay. Now today we will study about the medulla oblongata. Okay. The lowest part of the brainstem, the medulla oblongata. So see over here, we don't have to study the detail, the functions you must have already studied in physiology, isn't it? The functions you must have already studied in physiology. Today, what I will be dealing with, I will be showing you the various parts, the structures. Okay. So the structure of the medulla oblongata. So first, the medulla oblongata. Got it? The medulla oblongata is the lowest part of the brainstem. Got it? The medulla oblongata is the lowest part of the brainstem. And from where to where does it extend? It extends from the lower part of the, it extends from the lower border of the pons up to the spinal cord. Got it? Up to the spinal cord at the level of foramen magnum. Got it? Where the medulla lies at the level of foramen magnum. Below, at the base of the brain, it continues as the spinal cord. So see, I'll draw a small diagram to show you. Okay, the brainstem. Okay, so see, this is the pons. Okay, this is the pons. So from the lower part of the pons begins the medulla oblongata. Got it? And here down it continues down as the spinal cord at the level of foramen magnum. Okay? So this is the pons, this is the medulla, and this is the spinal cord. So it extends from the lower border of the pons, got it, to the foramen magnum, got it, where at the base of the skull it continues as the spinal cord. So between the pons and the spinal cord lies the medulla. Got it? Between the pons and the spinal cord lies the medulla. This is the extent of the medulla oblongata. Now the situation. Where is this medulla oblongata situated? This medulla oblongata is situated in the posterior cranial fossa. It is situated in the posterior cranial fossa. Now I have already taught you in the skull, the posterior cranial fossa. The posterior cranial fossa, it is covered by the tentorium cerebellum. It is covered by the tentorium cerebellum, which divides the posterior cranial fossa into supratentorial part and the infratentorial part. Got it? Into supratentorial part and the infratentorial part. And in this infratentorial part lies the pons medulla and the cerebellum. Got it? Lies the pons medulla and the cerebellum along with the fourth ventricle. So the medulla oblongata, it is the infratentorial structure. Got it? The medulla oblongata, it is an infratentorial structure. And now suppose if I draw the posterior cranial fossa. Got it? This is the posterior cranial fossa. This is the foramen magnum over here, isn't it? This is the petrous part of the temporal bone. Got it? This slope of the bone is called as the clivus, isn't it? This slope of the bone is called as the clivus. This is the petrous part of temporal bone, isn't it? And this is foramen magnum. This is the posterior cranial fossa. So here lies the medulla oblongata. Got it? Here lies the medulla oblongata. So anteriorly to the medulla oblongata lies the clivus. Got it? Anterior to the medulla oblongata lies the clivus, and posterior here is present the cerebellum, isn't it? Is present the cerebellum. So the vallicula of the cerebellum is present on the posterior part. The vallicula of the cerebellum is present on the posterior part. So, got it? The situation, it is related in the posterior cranial fossa. It is an infratentorial structure because it lies below the tentorium cerebelli. Okay? And anteriorly, it is related to the clivus, and posteriorly, it is related to the cerebellum. Got it? The vallicula of the cerebellum. It is related to the vallicula of the cerebellum. Okay? So this is about the extent and the situation, and just two relations of the medulla oblongata. But of the medulla oblongata. Now the features of the medulla oblongata. The features of the medulla oblongata. Okay? If you see the medulla oblongata, it is situated from the lower body of the pons up to the foramen magnum, where below downward continues as the spinal cord. Now this medulla over here, there is presence of the anteromedian. There is presence of the anteromedian fissure. Okay, so see, this is the anteromedian fissure. Okay, this is the anteromedian fissure. This anteromedian fissure divides the medulla into right and left part. Got it? It divides the medulla into right and left part. Okay? Because now we are standing, this will be right, this will be left. But actually this is right, this is left. Okay? So this is the right and left part. This is the anteromedian fissure. Okay? This is the anteromedian fissure. Okay? Which divides the medulla into right and left part. Then we have again another fissure. Got it? We have again another fissure which is called as the anterolateral sulcus. Got it? Anterolateral sulcus. Got it? This is the anterolateral sulcus. This anterolateral sulcus divides the medulla into two parts. Got it? The medulla, if you see, it is not a flat structure. It is having elevations. Got it? It is having, so see, these are the elevations, what you see. These are the elevation, and they are separated by what? In the middle by the anteromedial fissure, and on the lateral side by the anterolateral sulcus. Anteromedial fissure, anterolateral sulcus. Okay? Now this divides. Got it? These fissures, they divide the medulla into pyramid and olive. Got it? So this is the pyramidal part of the medulla oblongata, and this is the olivary part of the medulla oblongata. Okay? So this is the pyramid. Okay? And this elevation, this is called as the olive. Got it? This is called as the pyramid, this is called as the olive. Now this pyramid and the olive, they are elevated because there are many nuclei present inside this pyramid and the olive. Got it? There are many nuclei present in the pyramid and the olive. Okay? Now each half is divided into anterior part, posterior part and the lateral part. Now each half, that is this much portion, got it? This portion, got it? This, each half consists of anterior part, behind this will be posterior part and the lateral part. Okay? Anterior part, posterior part, and this will be the lateral part. So it consists of three parts, and these and the anterior region, it has got elevations as I told you, and these elevations are called as the pyramid and the olive. The olive, there is a mass of grey matter, got it, which forms the olivary nucleus. In the olive, got it, there are masses of grey matter present, and they form the olivary nucleus. The prolongation of these nuclei are called as fasciculus. Got it? The prolongation of these nuclei, they are called as the fasciculus. So in the, got it, in this pyramid and the olive, got it, in this posterolateral region of the posterolateral region of the medulla, there are present three elevations. Got it? You have the three elevations. You have the gracile nucleus, cuneate nucleus, and the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Got it? You have the gracile nucleus. Got it? You have the gracile nucleus, cuneate nucleus. Got it? These the olivary nucleus are already told. So this is the gracile nucleus along the pyramid. This is the cuneate nucleus along the olive, and over here on the lateral side you have, from the posterior aspect, this portion is the inferior cerebellar peduncle. This is the inferior cerebellar peduncle. So these three elevations, they are present on the posterolateral aspect of the medulla oblongata. Got it? These three are present. These three elevations are present in the medulla oblongata. This medulla oblongata is divided into two parts, upper part and lower part. Got it? This medulla oblongata is divided into two parts, upper part and the lower part. The upper part, the upper part opens into the fourth ventricle. The upper part opens into the fourth ventricle, and the lower part opens into the central canal. Okay? Like while teaching this is the pons, this is the midbrain, this is the pons, this is the medulla, isn't it? On section. This is the fourth ventricle, and this is the cerebellum. Okay? So this upper part of the medulla opens into the fourth ventricle. Got it? This upper part of the medulla opens into the fourth ventricle. Okay? Opens into the fourth ventricle, and the lower part opens into the central canal. Got it? And the lower part opens into the central canal. So to repeat again, the brainstem consists of the midbrain, pons and the medulla oblongata. It consists of the midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata. These three structures are infratentorial structures, and through them passes the ascending and the descending tracts. Through them passes the ascending and the descending tract. Okay, I have already mentioned in the midbrain there is presence of the nucleus of the oculomotor nerve and the trochlear nerve. In the pons there is presence of the nucleus of the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th cranial nerve, and in the medulla oblongata we have the 9, 10, 11, 12 cranial nerves. In addition to this, there is presence of the respiratory center and the vasomotor center. Got it? In the medulla oblongata, there is presence of the respiratory center and the vasomotor center. Why? You know, because in cases of hanging, got it? In cases of hanging, okay, what happens when you hang till death? What does this mean? Hang till death. Once you hang, the person is going to die. But you have to hang till death because you have studied the vertebral column. You have the second cervical vertebra which has got the dense process. Got it? You have the second cervical vertebra which has got the dense process like this, isn't it? So during hanging, what happens? The dense process, rather than being straight like this, it becomes horizontal and it pokes into the spinal cord. Got it? It pokes into the spinal cord, which directly is, got it? Directly the sensations are going to the respiratory center, and the respiration is hampered, and therefore there is death of the person. Got it? Therefore there is death of the person. That's why that sentence, hang till death. Okay? That's why you have to hang till the respiration of the person is stopped. Got it? So, till there is cessation of the respiration of a person. Okay? So that's why this medulla oblongata is very, very important, because any injury at any level of the medulla oblongata, any injury at any level of the medulla oblongata will give rise to respiratory failure, and respiratory failure will lead to death. So it is very fatal. It is very fatal. Okay, now this medulla oblongata, it is the lowest part of the brain stem. It is the lowest part of the brain stem. It is situated in the posterior cranial fossa. Got it? It is an infratentorial structure and it extends from it extends from the lower border of pons to the upper part of the spinal cord. Got it? To the upper part of the spinal cord at the level of foramen magnum at the base of the brain. Sorry, at the base of the skull, where it continues as the spinal cord. Okay, then it lies in the posterior cranial fossa. Anteriorly it is related to the clivus and posteriorly it is related to the vallecula of the cerebellum. Posteriorly it is related to the vallecula of the cerebellum. The features of the medulla oblongata, it has got the median fissure, got it, anteromedian fissure, which divides the medulla oblongata into two parts, the right part and the left part. Then each part is further divided by the anterolateral sulcus. Got it? Each part is divided by the anterolateral sulcus, which divides the pyramid from the olive. Got it? This anterolateral sulcus divides the pyramid from the olive, and these pyramid and olive, they are elevations which are present on the anterior as well as posterior aspect of the medulla oblongata. Why? Because there are many nuclei present inside them. Got it? The nuclei which you are supposed to remember is, you have the gracilis, the nucleus of gracilis, the nucleus of the cuneate nucleus. Got it? Gracile nucleus and the cuneate nucleus, and the olive has olivary nucleus already. Okay? The prolongation of this, got it? When these prolong, that is called as fasciculation. Got it? That is called as fasciculation. Okay? Then you have the medulla is divided into upper part and the lower part. The upper part opens into the fourth ventricle and the lower part opens into the central canal. Got it? The lower part opens into the central canal. Now before I rub this diagram, I will let you know the nerves, the cranial nerves that are related to the pons and medulla. Got it? I will tell you about the nerves that are related to the pons and medulla. Okay? Before going to the sections of the medulla oblongata, I will tell you about the nerves. Okay? So this is the pons. The pons is bridge-like structure. The next topic I will talk about pons. So see, I will draw in different color over here so that you can understand. So over here at the junction of the body and the superior cerebellum, this is the superior cerebellar peduncle. At the junction of the body and the superior cerebellar peduncle originates the fifth cranial nerve by two roots. Got it? It has a motor root and a sensory root. Got it? It has a motor root and a sensory root, and these together, got it, gives origin to the fifth cranial nerve. Got it? This gives origin to the fifth cranial nerve. At the junction of pons and medulla, over here in the center, there is presence of a foramen. Got it? There is presence of the foramen, and this is called as foramen cecum. Got it? It is called as foramen cecum. Got it? This is called as foramen cecum. On either side of the foramen cecum, got it? On either side of the foramen cecum originates the sixth cranial nerve. Got it? So you have the fifth cranial nerve at the junction of body and superior cerebellar peduncle. The fifth cranial nerve, that is the trigeminal nerve. The foramen cecum, on either side of the foramen cecum, originates the sixth cranial nerve, that is the abducens nerve. Okay? Then at the junction of the pons and medulla, got it? At the junction of the pons and medulla originates the seventh cranial nerve, that is the facial. Got it? The seventh cranial nerve, that is the facial nerve, and from here only there is origin of the eighth cranial nerve. So at the junction of pons and medulla, you find the seventh and the eighth cranial nerve. Got it? You find the seventh and the eighth cranial nerve. The seventh nerve is the facial nerve, and the eighth nerve is the auditory nerve or the statoacoustic nerve. Auditory nerve or the statoacoustic nerve. Okay? Then over here below this eighth cranial nerve, here you have the origin of the ninth cranial nerve. Got it? You have the origin of the ninth cranial nerve, and you have the 10th cranial nerve. Okay, the 10th cranial nerve, it has no single origin. There are many fibers. Okay, there are many fibers, and these fibers, they join together to form the 10th cranial nerve. Got it? To form the 10th cranial nerve. Okay, and then below that, from the pyramid. Got it? From the pyramid to many fibers. Got it? From the pyramid to many fibers. Got it? You have the origin of the 11th cranial nerve. Got it? You have the origin of the 11th cranial nerve. And lastly, from the lower part of the medulla, you have the origin of the 12th cranial nerve. Got it? You have the origin of the 12th. So this is the accessory nerve. Got it? This is the accessory nerve, and this is the hypoglossal nerve. Got it? This is the accessory nerve. Accessory nerve. This is the hypoglossal nerve. This is the vagus nerve. This is the glossopharyngeal nerve. This is the statocaustic nerve. This is the facial nerve. This is the abducens nerve, and this is the trigeminal nerve. Okay, so these are the nerves which are originate. This is how they originate from the pons and medulla, the cranial nerves. So from 5 to 12, this is the origin of the cranial nerve. So see, you see the 9, 10, 11, and 12. They originate from the medulla oblongata. They originate from the medulla oblongata. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. They originate from the pons. And up over here, you have the midbrain, isn't it? You have the midbrain, and from the midbrain, you have the origin of the third. Got it? You have the origin of the third and the fourth cranial nerve. Got it? You have the origin of the third and the fourth cranial nerve, isn't it? The first cranial nerve originates from the nose. That is the olfactory nerve, isn't it? It originates from the nose, and the optic nerve, it is a direct prolongation of brain. So here there are no nucleus present, but the centers are present in the cerebral cortex. Got it? The centers are present in the cerebral cortex. So I hope you have understood the origin of the various cranial nerves. So this is the most simplified diagram I could draw and show to you. Now, to know more about the medulla oblongata, we are supposed to know the sections at various levels. Got it? You have to take sections at various levels to find out the various nuclei and to find out the various tracts that are passing through the medulla oblongata. Got it? That are passing through the medulla oblongata. Okay? Okay? Now we take a TS section to the lower part of the pons. Got it? TS, transverse section to lower part of medulla. Got it? The lower part of medulla, if you take, what is this? This is pyramidal decussation, isn't it? There will be pyramidal decussation present in the lower part. Now see, to draw the diagram, so this is the section of the medulla oblongata, isn't it? Here there is the median fissure, isn't it? So this divides it into right and left hand. So first you have the nucleus gracilis, got it? Then you have the nucleus cuneatus, got it? You have the nucleus cuneatus. Over here on the lateral part, you have the nucleus of the trigeminal nerve, got it? Then there is a tract present, the dorsal and the ventral spinocerebellar tract, got it? Immediate to the spinocerebellar tract, you have the lateral spinocerebellar. This is the anterior-posterior, this is the lateral spinocerebellar tract. Okay? And below down over here, we have the olivary nucleus. Got it? Inferior olivary nucleus. This is to differentiate. Okay? So this is the gracile nucleus. This is the cuneate nucleus. This is the fifth cranial nerve, that is the trigeminal nucleus. Got it? This is the dorsal and ventral cerebellar tract. Got it? This is this. This is the lateral spinocerebellar tract. Got it? This is the inferior olivary nucleus. There is a superior olivary nucleus in the upper part of the medulla oblongata. Got it? Over here on the either side, okay, of the median, anterior-median fissure, these are the pyramidal decussation. So this is the pyramid. Got it? This is the pyramid. Okay? This is the pyramid. Over here, got it? This prolongation of the gracile tubercle, this is the fasciculus gracilis, this is the fasciculus cuneatus. Now I have drawn all this on one side. On this side also the same thing will be present. Gracile, cuneate, got it? You will have the trigeminal, okay? So this will be the fasciculus cuneatus and fasciculus gracilis. Over here in the middle, got it? Over here in the middle, there is presence of the nucleus. Which nucleus? You have the hypoglossal nucleus and you have the nucleus of the vagus nerve. Got it? Actually they are two in number, but then for you to understand, got it? You have the nucleus. This is the hypoglossal nucleus and this is the nucleus of vagus nerve. Got it? This is nucleus of vagus nerve. So through the TS section of the lower part of the medulla, when you take a cut section, you will see the nucleus gracilis, you will see the nucleus cuneatus, you will see the nucleus of trigeminal nerve. Got it? You will see the nucleus of trigeminal nerve. You will see the inferior olivary nucleus. Got it? You will see the inferior olivary nucleus. So these are the nuclei. Then in addition to this, you have the anterior and posterior spinocerebellar tract. Got it? You have the lateral spinocerebellar tract. You will see the pyramidal decussation. Got it? Then you will have the fasciculus gracilis, fasciculus cuneatus, the hypoglossal, the nerve to the hypoglossal nucleus and the nerve to the vagus nucleus. The nerve to the hypoglossal nucleus and the nerve to the vagus nucleus. So these are the structures present in the lower part of the pons and medulla.